Yay. Okay, this time. Oh my goodness. Okay, technology. I need to remember to do it the right way the first time. Okay, let us try this again. Introduction. Today I am stitching Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions Needlework. And you can get this on their Etsy shop, so you can get it as a PDF. I put it in Pattern Keeper for working with my, like the cross stitch sections, but then the specialty ones I work from the PDF because that won't load into Pattern Keeper. But I got a couple requests to do this as a stitch with me because of these specialty stitches. It alternates crosses, specialty, and then it'll go back into crosses, like for these butterflies. And specialty stitches can be intimidating. I'm here to tell you they don't have to be. So the PDF comes with all the directions and diagrams for every single stitch that I need. So this first one here, this one right there, is the diagonal herringbone stitch. And it gives you a very clear diagram. I know, Brittany, I think I got it. I set it up the right way. So hopefully my camera says so far so good. Anyway, the diagrams, it gives you numbers like here's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so that you can see very clearly where it is that you're supposed to go. And this is how you start it. And then this is kind of how you continue it. And then they still tell you every piece of instruction that you need to know. So this is like your corner, so that this is kind of a flat edge. And then the rest of them in that diagonal are these Smyrna cross variations. So the one I'm on is this round eyelet, and it's over 4 threads. That's this one that's across. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the way that I think of things, it's a 5 by 5 kind of grid. It is a little different from these ones, which were like, well, this one was 8. Anyway, you kind of have to think of each of them very different and just be very careful about what you're seeing. Hello! Wait. Hold on. I keep wanting to go Spanish and put the J that's in your name as a yeah. So I keep wanting to say Celia. But I know it's not because you told me last time what it was. But at least I remember. I'm terrible. I'm awful. So I actually show you the pattern. I am correct. Oh, okay. There you go. Some Spanish coming into play. I don't really know Spanish. So anyway, so I'm doing these round eyelets, and I can't really show you the pattern to see how it is, but they do show you exactly which holes all around here that you need to go in. This is 32 count Belfast linen in black, and I really like, I'm trying to get, hold on, let me bring these over here. I really like how the colors can pop black, but it is very difficult to see your holes in the black. So I'll try to give some of my tips as I get going here. The J sounds like a Y. See? Okay. Let's see if I can remember this. I'm closer than I was the last time with your name. And is it Celia, or Celia? Celia. Sil or Seal? I think the specialty stitches are fun. It's different. I think that's why I like it, is that they're different than crosses, and they, like, I have to think just a little bit harder. Seal. Is that what I said first? Celia? Oh, goodness. See, that's how bad my memory is right now. I can't even remember what I said first. Great. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. Of course, I just told you that my memory was terrible, and then I said I'm going to try to remember it. We'll see how that works out for me. So I do find that these round eyelets feel super slow because they're so small. They 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the 8th one that I just did, but the smear across kind of equivalent is 5.5. So that's it. It does feel. It feels slower. And I think the hardest part is making sure you start in the right spot, which I'm going to try and make sure I do. If where do I start? Okay, here I'm going to show you this. Hello, Ellen. Okay, so if you see here, it says number 1 is here in the lower left-hand corner, and then you go into the center and then come 2 into the center. But I'm working the diagonals this way, so I finish up here, and then I have to count to get down here in the right spot. If I could have started anywhere else, probably, but I think there's a reason. The reason I think you start here is because of the way that the thread runs on the back, if that makes sense. The way the thread pulls on the back, maybe it's a better way of saying that. So I need to go 4 threads down. 1, 2, 3, 4 threads down. Okay. Sometimes I have to start these little round eyelets over. And sometimes I don't. And it's been a while since I've picked this up and did them the first time. So I'm still trying to wrap my brain around doing it. But once you get started, it's not too bad. These first 2 were really fun. The diagonal herringbone was really easy. The Smyrna cross was also pretty easy. All right, I did get them in the right spot. That means I remember how to read the chart. Nope, that's not it. Right here. So black fabric, I have not worked a whole lot with black fabric. I'm thinking through all my projects. Is this my old black one? I think this is my only one that's on black right now, but I do have one that's on also on really dark fabric. So I got a this is a light board. It's really easy to turn on. It is plugged in. You have to plug. I have it unplugged so I don't accidentally turn it on. But in order to use it, it does need to be plugged in. I just find it a little too bright, and so I like to keep it covered with a cloth. The other good thing about a white cloth is that you can see through it a little bit easier. Hi, Maria. This is Northern Expression Needleworks Twisted Band Sampler. I love it. I love this chart. Sorry, now I have too many papers. I'm getting rid of the paper. So even without the light on, I can still see through it better with the white fabric underneath it. I just don't know if I turn on the board, if it's going to like blind you guys or not. I wouldn't think so, but I guess you never know. Let's see, where am I going from here? Down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we go. I have seen this chart for years and wanted to give it a try, but the specialty stitches did intimidate me for far too long than they needed to. But I am glad I also waited, because I probably would have done it on the like suggested fabric, and I really like doing it on this black fabric instead. Oh, this is not at all the right spot, because I didn't move my chart. I was looking at the wrong place. There is a second chart by the same company. It's very similar. It's called I don't remember what it's called, Rainbow Band Sample maybe. And it's very similar in that it has specialty stitches and it's got crosses as well. And I think they showed that one on black fabric, and it's beautiful. The coloring, everything's beautiful. Okay. I did look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I'm just confused, because I think it was in the right spot. Like I said, sometimes I start over again. This is 32 count Belfast linen in black. I'm so confused. This is where it's telling me on the chart that I need to be, but it doesn't matter. Does that mean I did this one wrong? Oh, I see. I didn't do the last stitch of this last one. Oh my gosh, y'all. What is going on here? Okay, I'm gonna risk trying to blind you. I'm gonna try to figure this out. See, this is why I do stuff like this. And I think this is why people wanted me to do this as a stitch with me. Oh, la-di-da. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that was number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know what I probably need to do is print out I probably should just work from a printed copy for these specialty stitches in order to mark off exactly what it is I'm doing, or what have I done, because otherwise I'm running into this problem. All right. Now I understand. I was starting in the wrong spot. The black is, I love it with the black. Oh, my dog, thank you. My dogs don't normally want to be super close, especially, well, they love to be super close, but not usually when I'm filming and moving around and stuff. So special appearance. Hey, you should not have told me that Hayden was having a sale. Don't do it. I don't want to hear that. I actually just bought a pattern on their last, they had a 1-day sale. I don't remember why they had a 1-day sale, but they did. And I bought a pattern then. The problem is once I buy them, I kind of want to start them, but then I need fabric, and I don't always have fabric. And I'm trying really hard not to start anything that's not planned for Mania. Okay, where's my scissors? You didn't hear it here. There's no Hayden sale, everybody. Don't look. If you get it, tell me what you get. Oh, I have a fair amount. I don't think it's too many. I know that there are some people who have wish lists that are a lot. I don't think I have that many. I think I have maybe 30 or so on my wish list, and a lot of them are Amy Stewart patterns. Because I really love Amy Stewart. I know, what is a few more? No big deal. I do have a lot of, I guess I feel like I have a lot of patterns because whenever I have patterns that I don't have started, I feel like it's a lot. I just like to start everything. All right, let's make sure, let's see if I can get this one in the right spot. So I'm stitching with only one thread on this chart. These colors, my crosses are in DMC, and and this I'm doing in, okay, it was kind of confusing to me. It's called a Verissois, but then when I went to actually go find them, it does say a Verissois, but it's usually under this other, I don't know if I'm going to get that to focus on here. Soie d'Alger. I am super sorry, my French-speaking friends, because I don't speak French. I don't speak anything but English. But it's hard to find it under a Verissois, even though on the screen it's here as a label. Maybe I can. No, you're just not going to focus for me. That's because I made it to not autofocus. So here we go. Maybe back here. There you go. So on this green part, it does say a Verissois, but then up here it says Soie d'Alger. And I am using those because I've never used it, so I'm all for trying. I'm all for trying things. Here, I'll show you all of the, these are all the flosses for the specialty stitches. My beautiful little bouquet here, sort of. There we go. They're so pretty. They're really soft because they're silks. So silks are all really soft. I love them. Ellen, you definitely can do a head in hand. You can do whatever you like with them, honestly. The fabric can be a lot depending on what you're doing. I can't really do, depending, it's hard to do them in hand if you're trying to, wait. It's easy to do them in hand. It's hard to do the stitch method where your needle stays up on top the whole time, simply because they're so close. And a lot of stitches right next to it. So I'm not successful at the sewing method, but I definitely can stitch them in hand, and have actually very recently started to stitch everything in hand except my super size. And that one is on a frame. Oops, this is almost finished, but I wanted to get this one last stitch on before I ended the thread. I will say about these specialty stitches is that, especially when you're starting them, they are hard to start and stop if you're using just one strand. If you use DMC and you're stitching a fabric in which you're doing two strands, get off for a second. Yeah, I can see it. You can use a loop start if you're doing two strands, but when you're just doing one strand, it can be a challenge, and I'm going to be totally honest. Some of these are knotted very carefully, but some of them have had to be knotted in order, like, just with the way that they are. I'm not always able to, like, this right here is a knot, and you can never feel that it's a knot. You don't even be able to see where I'm pointing. But I'm going to be honest, I did that. I did knots in my work. I just was careful about it. It's tricky in hand because the fabric is usually huge, but when I do mine in hand, yeah. And I find that I like rolling it up on the bottom, and holding this, and then if my fabric is so big that it hangs out, I will just, like, kind of fold it under like that in order to not have too much weight off the side. Yeah, Ellen, totally give him a try. You may find that the sewing method doesn't work, but you may find that it does. It might depend on your fabric count and your type of fabric, honestly. But you can totally do it in hand. So don't let that stop you. Oh, I'm glad that it helped. I don't know what to call you, energy lady. I can call you energy lady. It can be really helpful to have the really, really large scroll frame or the supersize. But I do also know Jemima the Rocking Stitcher, she has several supersize, and she stitches in hand. So she also rolls her fabric up from the bottom, actually. Okay, this is going back on. So you can definitely work on those big, big ones without it. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do think it depends on my mood. One thing that I have discovered with stitching in hand is, well, it's just so easy. Like I don't have to think keeping extra supplies. Like I don't have to keep extra hooks or Q-snaps or move it from project to project. I can kind of just pick it up and go. I can keep one needle in my like bin that has my and other things in it for stitching. And sometimes you just kind of need that slowness that comes with stitching. I feel new to stitching in hand. It's really only been like last month that I've used to stitch in hand all the time. Like in my earlier years, ever since I started working on Hades, I got used to like a Q-snap or a scroll frame. And so now going back out and doing all of these other things, it's kind of like another reminder. I can do that. I can go back to this way and it's great. 4, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like that I don't have to keep extra like supplies. And I know that it works real well for some people to have like Q-snaps if they have Q-snaps for every project, and I think that's fantastic. Yeah, it gives a little connection, knowing that it's okay to have tools that have come around since then, but also I feel that connection to them stitching in a way that they maybe would have stitched. So they would not have had these kind of silk threads and or hand-dyed fabrics. So yeah, these little, the hardest part about specialty stitches for me is counting and making sure you like are starting in the right spot. Consistent. The crosses were consistent. That would be fine. These round eyelets, in relation to the Smyrna crosses, they're different. So they are probably, I mean, they would be the same in relation to the previous eyelet, but it's different in relation to the Smyrna crosses. So you just have to be careful about what you're counting from. Maybe I should switch what I'm counting from the previous eyelet. Silk is beautiful to stitch with. My favorite so far, I really love the Silks for You silk that I have. I also adore the color of it. It's like a teal purple combo that I use on what pattern? Ink Circles is the one that was on. I love working with that one. And I don't know if it's the color or the pattern or the silk itself. It doesn't matter. I just love it. Okay, so if I were to count from here, then I need to go over 2 and down 4, right? Over 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's see if I counted that correctly. I sure hope so. So on my last Stitch With Me live, we ended up talking about candy forever. And it's funny because I really don't like candy a lot. But now, I'm having all these conversations with people about candy because of that Stitch With Me. It's so funny. I love it. Especially people from outside the United States. I am getting to hear about different candies or treats or sweets that are favorites in their country, and it's been so fun. The last one I heard about was Iceland, I think, and they eat licorice and chocolate like together. And she said it's black licorice, which is, and that's the kind they like black licorice. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's funny the things that come up when you're just talking with people, and then you're like, am I gonna get to be known for that random thing that we talked about? That's licorice girl. whenever I do think of licorice, I do think black licorice. I feel like all other licorice is kind of like fake licorice, but I just smell licorice, which is so bad. But then there's, I think, anise, the spice that tastes like licorice. It's hard to eat that in foods because it does taste like licorice. I don't know what stitch I'm supposed to be on, so I have no idea if I'm doing. They line up right there, so I've got to be in the right spot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But your stitching is going to be so much cleaner now because of using chopsticks. And then when anybody looks at you funny and asks you why you're doing that, you can say you made me do it, and then they're going to have no idea who I am. I actually have I don't eat snacks a lot right now because I have aligners and straightening out my teeth, and I don't like to unnecessarily brush my teeth a bajillion times a day. So I don't tend to eat a lot of snacks, which I suppose is a good thing. Sometimes you really do just want to have a snack. But I don't like leaving my aligners out for too long because you get all these bumps on your teeth when you're working with these aligners. Like they put on I don't remember what they call them, but like little attachment things that like stay on your teeth the whole time. So when you don't have your aligners in your mouth, it's very obvious that you don't. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, the beginning part of these eyelets were tricky, making sure I had everything right. But I haven't had trouble now for a while, so. You can also get these patterns. I probably should say this more often. You can get these patterns as cross-stitch only options. On their Etsy shop, in their listings, they're very clear about whether you're getting the cross-stitch only or not. So if you really like the pattern, but the specialty is not something that you're interested in doing, then you can get the cross-stitch only versions. They do have that available. And I have seen some pictures of those stitched. They still look very lovely because you still get the color gradient. I'm not entirely sure, but oh, yes, okay. I know. I see where I am. With silks, I also like to work with a pretty short length of floss. Because it can kind of fuzz up and fray more easily than cotton. But that does mean that you are changing your floss more often. That's how far we are. It also cuts down on the amount of chips you eat. That's true. I need a good way to store like my silks though. Maybe I'll just put them in baggies, like plastic bags. So this is about the length from fingertip to elbow. Like there. That's how long I chose to cut it. Wow, has it really been 42 minutes already? Over here. There we go. The fun thing about the bands, well, or the annoying thing, I suppose it depends on how you feel about a particular specialty stitch. So this is one DMC color, this is a second DMC color, and then this is one Soie color. And then there's going to be 3 more rows of specialty stitches in a second color, and they reverse the specialties. So I'll do this one in the new color, and that one in the new color, and then this one in the new color. Oh, fun! Yes, you do get to work with all kinds of craft things. Have fun at work, Brittany. Thanks for popping on. So if you are enjoying a specialty stitch, you get to stitch it twice. And if you don't enjoy the specialty stitch, you will be annoyed because you have to stitch it twice. And since each band gets longer every time you stitch for quite a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, I didn't pay attention to the fact that I was starting a new thread. So I think that tomorrow I'm going to be attempting my first fabric dye job. I've gotten some comments on the floss tube video that I posted yesterday telling me about the Rit Dye website has like a color chart thing, so you can find a color that you're looking for, and then it'll combination of their dyes to get that color. So I had bought purple and an indigo, thinking that I can add some indigo and darken it. So now that those lovely people pointing me in that direction, that resource. I can go on there and hopefully those two colors are the ones that I need so that I don't have to go back to the store. But I'm hoping to do this tomorrow to attempt to dye some fabric a dark purple. Another viewer said that they like to dye in cold water because it helps prevent shrinkage if you do it in cold, and they still had lovely results with cold water with their RIT dye. So I might try that as well because the fabric I got is, I think, a 36 count, which I've not ever worked on before. And I don't want a 36 count to shrink. That would be tiny. I mean, a 36 count might already feel tiny, but although I suppose I'll be working over 2 threads anyway, so if it does end up shrinking, that's fine, I guess. I kind of, well, I was gonna say I want to finish this one, so I can start a new color with you guys before ending this live. It won't be a new specialty stitch, it'll just be this same eyelet stitch, but that's okay. I thought the Smyrna classes were really fun. I also really liked the herringbone. It's very satisfying to me how it becomes woven as you stitch it, but you're not actually doing any weaving. It's just in how you stitch it. I really like that. It was fun. But I think the Smyrnas are really eye-catching. And then these round eyelets, they remind me of like those little tiny button daisies. And that was stitched in the wrong place. It's crazy. Like these eyelets used to just, I mean, think of all that embroidery that people used to do by hand. No wonder that, I mean, the sheer amount of hours it would have taken to embroider, I don't know, like hem of a dress or sleeves or like a collar or something. Came to mind because I did make once I made a period dress for my mother, and a fabric that I used had a lot of like embroidery things, especially little eyelets like this, like I'm stitching right now. And just thinking of how much was on the fabric that I used, and it wasn't even the only thing that was on that fabric. if it was done by machine, but if once upon a time that would have been done by hand. And it's just crazy how long that would have taken, but it really would have been a special thing to people, to the wealthy, I suppose. I'd say for the eyelets, because all of it is going into the middle, that's what the eyelet is. You want to make sure that your stitches are even all the way around, especially your last one. You want to make sure that it still lays the same as the rest of them. And then you'll get that nice little rounded look. I wonder, it is blurry. Let me see if I can, like, well, nope, that just made it super blurry. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. You're welcome, Celia. I love going live, and you know I'll do it again. I'll do it lots of times. I'm going to try to do it every Friday. Kind of around this time, same time frame for me. Though it may sometimes be in the evenings. I don't know. I love that I can get different people at different times of the day, depending on when I go live. But so either way, I'm aiming for like my Fridays, which is sometimes people's Saturdays, sometimes like people from Australia or the Philippines who hop on, they're already on the next day. The next cross stitch piece that I'm going to be going live with is going to be my ink circles. That's the one that I'm stitching with the Silks for You silks that I mentioned earlier. And somebody just wants to see how I work with the variegation on that one. I do kind of have a method. It's not totally go with the flow. There's a little bit of planning, but it's only a little bit of planning. So I feel like there's a lot of videos I need to make because of the fabric dyeing. And then also I have a video planned about tent stitching. All my heights in tent stitch. So I get a lot of questions about that. And I want to have a way to answer them. Sometimes it's hard to answer them in a message. This light pad that I'm using was, I don't think it was too much. Maybe it was like maybe $20, and I got it from Amazon. It's very thin, it's very lightweight, easy to set up. The only thing is, for me, it's a little too bright if I don't have it covered like I have it covered now. It bothers my eyes, but it works really well working with dark fabrics. Good lighting is crucial for dark fabrics. I feel like maybe I have 4 more eyelets to get to the end. And then I can do a bit of the next color, which I think is a darker pink, if I remember correctly. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going a lot faster once I, counting from the previous eyelet instead of trying to set it up in relation to the smear and crosses. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but figured it out. And now you too can go faster. Sorry if I shake you. I'm not trying to. Oh yeah, okay. And which is nice, knowing that I can count from the previous eyelet and do just fine, because I don't want to print out a lot of pages, like that's not why I get PDF patterns. I get PDF so I can not be using tons of paper and have to manage paper. There we go. I feel like I have just like one more thread or like 4 eyelets or something like that left. I keep forgetting where I put my needle, but I put it in the same spot each time, so I don't know why I keep moving around. Where's the end of my, here it is. So it's very much spring and even kind of summery weather for me right now. I know there's a lot of snow going on for people, but not where I live. It was like 80 degrees yesterday in Fahrenheit. What is it right now? It says it's 70 degrees right now. I really ought to learn how to make the conversion into Celsius. Oh. Then I'd have to remember, and my brain really isn't remembering things very easily right now. I say right now, but it's been like 2 years since it's been like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, I did the same exact thing. I pulled too hard coming out. One, two, three, 4. All right. There we go. You'd think I'd started enough threads in my stitching that I wouldn't keep doing something like that. Okay, now that Haid sale is like stuck in my head, and I'm thinking like, oh, what chart should I get? Should I get the next super size max color that I want to do, even though I'm not going to do it for, 2.5 more years? Or do I get a smaller one, even though I'm not going to start one for a while? Or do I get like my next several favorites on my list? See, this is why I don't want to know about Haid sales. I can think of a couple that I could very easily buy. Three. I'm like almost done this row and I can't wait. I just want it to be done now and start a new color. Even if it's the same specialty stitch, it'll feel brand new for like 2 eyelets before it's the same thing again. Weirdly enough, I can't think of anything to talk about right now. Oh, I can tell you something I've been dreaming about lately. I 1, 2, 3, 4. I recently went on a road trip, and I one thing I like to do on these trips is well, when, there's only 1 or 2 people on a trip, this is possible for me. Hello, Alara. Looky. It's Twisted Band Sampler. So one thing I like to do on road trips is like sleep in my van. I have like a mattress that I can pull out and everything, and curtains and safety precautions, all that stuff. But when you're driving across more than 1 day's worth of driving, especially when you're the only driver, sleep is good. So I've been dreaming lately about having a camper van, like one that's meant to be used for camping, where you can have like a fridge in it, like a little fridge, and like dedicated space for everything. 2, 3, 4. You can cook your meals. I love the idea so much. And I've been dreaming about having one. Well, it's not like I gave a heads up like you asked me to give you last time. But I am going to try to be consistent to do it on Fridays. Like our afternoons, because we're in the same time zone, you and I. There may be sometimes I won't be able to do that, but it'll be pretty rare. And that's as close to consistency as I can suggest that I'm going to have. Yay, there's the last eyelet for this color, which means I'm done with this color. That's one cool thing about this chart, is that your color is used up and done when you finish that band. It's not reused. Now I have 3 colors finished in this chart, which means I have all of this lovely, like, medium pinkish color left over. And I'll have to figure out how to store it, because I have some loose threads that will need to go with it. Okay. Oops, I turned it on again. So it tells me, oh, not on either of the ones that I printed out. Okay, let me go in here. I don't know what color I'm supposed to work next. Okay, I'll show you. You might not be able to read it, and that's fine. But here, like, it says band 1. I'm on band 2, and it says the light gray, which I just stitched all of, are stitched in 4623 medium pink, and the dark gray, which is what's next, are stitched in 4624 dark pink. Okay, 4624. which is obviously a pink one, but let's like just pull this out. It's a dark pink, so probably this one. 4624, which looks rather reddish. Actually, on camera, it even looks orangey. It definitely doesn't look orange in person. I just have to make sure I started right. So this has one end. I don't remember if both of them. Hold on. Okay. They have a knot on one end, and I think that's the one that they're like, pull here. And then the other one is not knotted, and it's more inside. It's good to know if you remember that it's Friday. Okay, the only reason I remember that it's Friday ever is because it's like my daughter isn't here starting Fridays, and so it's easy for me to remember when it's Fridays. That's all. It's the only way I know. Alara, this one's not the one you're working on, right? You have the rainbow, or do you have this one? I can't remember. Why can't I remember? Here's the difference between these two colors. Yeah, it's weird. They're definitely showing up more like peachy orange, and I promise they're not. Okay, I was right. You have, is that what it's called? Twisted Rainbow Sampler? That's what I said before. I think. Let's see, I'm doing it exactly the opposite, because after I do this one, then I'll do the Twisted Rainbow. And they shall be beautiful. Maybe hung up side by side, maybe not. We'll see. Who knows? In like 3 years from now. Okay, good. I got it right the first time. Okay, except I'm going to question it every single time I say it. I don't know why, I just will. It's just one of those things that happens. But I got Celia's name right. Or at least close enough that she says it's right. All right. The beginning part is always a lot of counting to make sure I got it right. Turn my light back on. Okay. I need this corner, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope I'm getting it right. So, I know what I can tell you because I haven't really talked about them yet on any videos. So I hit my head twice. I got 2 mild concussions in 2020. And yeah, it's been 2 years since the first of those two. It seems like a crazy thing that it's so long. And what makes it even crazier is that I'm just now taking care of it with a doctor. But I have to make sure that I got this right. Yes, I did. Yay! Okay, they're funny stories how I hit my head. Both times, actually, are kind of funny. But the reason I was saying this was because recently I had a doctor's appointment for it. It was a consultation with a neuropsychologist. And so it's like you meet with the neuropsychologist before you get the evaluation or testing, whatever you want to call it. This thing is like really loose, this roll thing. Anyway, and during that appointment, he like gave me some caution he wanted me to wait a little bit, or to consider waiting, and to tell me like just due to some circumstances. And I was like, no, I've been dealing with like my brain healing for 2 years already. I just need to make sure that I'm on the right track, that I'm not missing something, that like maybe there's like a therapy or something else I should be doing to help get my brain on track faster than it is. Because after 2 years, I'm impatient, and concussion effects are supposed to go away within like 3 months. So I am way far behind in like following up with a doctor. It's been a lot over the last couple of years. Yeah. You know, Ellen, it's hard sometimes. It's hard to say that you got to take care of yourself. When you're not used to putting yourself, not just like to say it's okay that you have like legitimate needs that you need to take care of. It's really hard, but it is. You're right. It's so important. And I've been very bad about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, over my whole life, really. But that's changing, and it really is. It really is good. Yeah, how I hit my head is kind of funny. So I don't know that my black dog really showed up on camera yet. I have 2 dogs. I have the one that was in my video that posted yesterday, and then I have a black one, and she is about a year younger, or yeah, she's a little over a year younger than Elisara is. So 2 years ago, she was just a bitty puppy, and she was underneath I was on a little, like a 2-seater seat, I guess. It was kind of lightweight. It was a lightweight seat, so it wasn't like heavy. And she was underneath, and I could hear her chewing on something, and I just wanted to check that it was appropriate, because she would have only been 2.5 months at that time. 3, maybe. Yeah, no, 2.5. So I looked underneath and I couldn't see anything but her butt. I could only see her bum. And so I flipped over the back of the seat. Well, I popped my head over. I didn't mean to flip. But that's what happened is that I looked under the couch from behind it or the seat, and the seat, because it was so lightweight, it like tilted and my head went straight down onto the ground, and I have hardwood floors. So I landed on the hardwood floor like directly with my head and like flipped over, and I was in the midst of like moving some books around on a bookshelf. So my body flipped over my head and landed in this jumble of books. And yeah, I was, vacillating between laughing and crying. I was laughing so hard that I was crying, and then I was like legitimately crying, and then I was laughing hysterically again. Just concussion stuff. My puppies came over, both of them, and they were like, "Are you okay?" Like licking my face and checking on me. So that was the first time. It was due to my puppy. And the neuropsychologist asked me if I still have the puppy, and yes, I do. She's my dog. She's actually laying on the floor right over here. I am her human, and she does not like when I am gone, even if other people are here with her. She doesn't like it when I'm gone. She gets mopey. That's what everyone tells me. Anyway, her name is Pip. Also named for Pippin the Hobbit. The second time I hit my head was I was getting blood work done. And the office I was at was like on the third floor or the fourth floor of a building, but you took an elevator to go there. And this was not the first time I'd had blood taken by them, or even recently. Like I was regularly getting blood taken at this time, and but this time I was lightheaded, and it wasn't any different from any other lightheadedness from blood work, but it didn't really go away. And something about getting in the elevator, and I think maybe the movement of the elevator, it caused me to like black out. Because I remember getting in the elevator and pushing the button, but the next thing I remember was laying on the floor, and my vision was still dark, but I could hear somebody who watched me walk out of the elevator and straight into the wall on the other side of the like hallway there. And that was it was like a stone wall and stone flooring. I bent my glasses, like that's how hard I hit the wall in front of me, and then like crumpled to the ground. But I remember nothing of that. So yeah, I hit my head twice. It was special. After that, when I got my blood taken, the nurses were very, very on top of keeping an eye on me, and there were several times they would lay me down. They're like, turn the light off and here's a fan, and like here's water. And people would pop in and like, I thought it was you in here. Yeah, I was definitely known in the office there as someone to watch out for when I was getting blood taken. It was special. Not in the way that you want to be special. But there you go. Why do these stitches look a little weird? They are correct. I don't know why they look like that, but they are correct. So I do have my neuropsych testing scheduled. And like the actual testing part, so I can see if I'm doing the right things that my brain needs right now. And I've already told them that if they try to tell me I need to stop stitching, that I'm going to tell them that they're going to have to give me a new solution. Because that's not happening. I'm like, you need to tell me that I need to like hire someone to clean my house or something. My puppy just woke up and is like rolling around on the floor. I mean, really, Alara, if they're going to give you some solutions, they need to like they need to be good ones. Don't tell me to not stitch. I need it. My brain may not need it. My emotions need it. My brain and my emotions don't need. We're sorry to inform you, but the best course of action is to get some outside help. Exactly. That's what they need to tell me. I mean, like, you're gonna have to see. You need to after your sleep study. Okay, I'm gonna need someone to do the laundry and the dishes and like make dinner. I don't know. There are some things that for some reason are just so hard to do. Look at that. I don't know why it's like kind of spazzing, like pixelating every once in a while. I'm just like trying to make it. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, that's the new color, the dark pink. And it does look, it still looks too orangey than it does but I mean the black, I feel like black fabric kind of messes up the colors in camera, but it looks amazing in person. So, well, that's been an hour and a half. So I am going to end this now since I got to that second color. And yeah, I'm going to go look at the RIT dye website so I can see if they have the dark purple color so I can dye some fabric. We're going to see how that goes on. Oh, well, I have seen these like stitched up in just the cross stitch, and they do look super pretty. as is. But when you know that there's also specialty stitches in them, and then you start seeing them worked up, that can be hard. It's okay. My fabric dyeing is going to be like super amateur. We're just going for like the fabric turned a color. That is what I am aiming for, is that my fabric turns purple. If it doesn't count as success. You're welcome, Ellen. Well, if you're not too far, Alara, you probably could get the specialty one. I don't know how far you are in it though, but you could probably still get it and like switch over maybe. Maybe worth looking into. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And 6,000, then you probably don't want to switch over to the specialty one. But then you can get the Twisted Band Sampler one and switch that one over to the specialty stitches. They are fun and pretty. They're so pretty. And I like the interest that they add, like, to the piece. So I will see everybody later next Friday. I don't foresee next Friday. Oh yeah, have a good weekend. It is Easter weekend for everybody who celebrates Easter. So I know that it's a long weekend for a lot of people. Hope that gives you guys some extra stitching. Or some good time with family or friends. And I will see you guys later. Bye.